Hello and a warm welcome to Federal Special Program Capital Beat. LPG prices continue to rock the Parliament today. Opposition MPs protested in Parliament premises, displaying images of props of gas cylinders. They even carried placards demanding action on the shortage of LPG. Now, women opposition MPs, including Priyanka Gandhi, sat with a mock brick cooking stove, that is a chula, to protest. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, in the meanwhile, said the disruptions in the global energy supply chain caused by the ongoing conflict in West Asia have created concerns, but also asked citizens not to panic and expressed confidence that India would overcome the challenge. But leader of the opposition in the Lok Sabha, Rahul Gandhi, said that Prime Minister Narendra Modi is asking people not to panic, but he himself is panicking for different reasons. Now, the big question we are asking, that is the LPG crisis manufactured or real? That is the million-dollar question. And what is the situation on the ground? Are there reasons to worry? Because we've been discussing continuously that the entire crisis has gone beyond oil and gas. It is the steel sector which is getting affected, shipping, petrochemicals, glass making industry, paints, diapers, things like diapers also will get impacted. So yesterday we had a long discussion, but today we'll keep it to the politics of this entire crisis and what the opposition says. And the biggest question is that didn't the Modi government preempt this crisis? And a similar kind of protest also happened way back when UPA was in power. And at that time also, there was a crisis of the LPG. There were protests happening. So we'll try and discuss both sides of the story. Joining me this evening is Sujata Paul, Congress spokesperson. Thank you so much, Sujata, for joining. We have Vivek Deshpande, senior journalist and political commentator. Thank you so much for joining. We have Shubhankar Bhattacharya, who's the Trinamool Congress spokesperson. Thank you so much, Shubhankar. And I'm also expected to be joined by Sarvesh Tripathy, who's the Samajwadi Party spokesperson. So we'll keep adding him when he comes. But I'll begin with you, Sujata, that today in the Parliament premises, we saw women opposition MPs carrying mock stoves. And to highlight the crisis, they were carrying props of the gas cylinders. But how big is the crisis? And with Prime Minister Modi saying that there is no reason to panic. Now, these are the pictures. I would just like to hold you for a moment, because these are the pictures which were playing out in the morning outside the Makar Dwar. This is the Parliament campus. And these are the visuals. You can see MPs all across. You can see some of the women MPs sitting with a mock gas cylinder. You have banners and placards which are talking about this LPG crisis, and they are demanding action from the government as to how to mitigate this crisis. You can see in the pictures Mallikarjun Kharge, several other opposition MPs, Rahul Gandhi, Priyanka Gandhi, then several leaders from Trinamool, Samajwadi Party, all of them are here. So how big is this crisis? Sujata, coming to you. Is this crisis really in a situation where we can say that apparently the government wasn't prepared? Yes, Sujata.
Certainly, and what is happening today is a crisis which is of our own making. We have destroyed our relations with Iran, and we are trying to propagate, a narrative into the people's minds, into the country, that all is well. Nothing is okay, because every city that you will you go to, you will find that there is this huge crisis, and there is a huge shortage of LPG cylinders already. Bookings are not taking place on the websites. The websites have become inactive. The phone call, the number that they've given, that is non-functional. And clearly, if you look at this whole issue, why has this happened? Do you remember Iris Dana had come to our country for the International Fleet Review Milan 2026. When they left from here, the way they were torpedoed by a US submarine clearly left us, without any vision or any direction as far as our foreign policy is concerned, because we did not speak. We just, we just gave away our responsibility to the Sri Lankans, who really showed their responsibility. And who's the big brother here in the subcontinent? We. But after that, there was one ship which was bombarded by the Iranian forces, yesterday or day before, and then we got this information that all is well, and we've been allowed a passage through the Strait of Hormuz. But the Iranians are now saying that they are not allowing anyone who is an ally of the Americans to pass through the Strait of Hormuz. That means we have been made into the an ally of the US. When did this happen? What has happened to our foreign policy? And Mr. Jaishankar saying that, oh, everybody has to exercise restraint. Again, I will repeat that he just wants us to keep quiet while we are completely overtaken by the whims and fancies of this one man who sits in the chair of the Prime Minister and who has no vision, and he is not being able to pacify tempers of the people, who's not being able to give any kind of reprieve to us. And just imagine, in Uttarakhand, from where I come, I heard one minister say in the Vidhan Sabha that they were going to supply hotels and eateries with wood and coal. Wood and coal. Just imagine this statement. And clearly, hoteliers are saying that you can't expect us to be working in this way. That means even tourism is going to be hit in a big way. Eateries are going to be hit in a big way. And with oil not reaching us, and this 30-day reprieve that we got from the US to buy from Russia, how is that going to help us? Clearly, this is a huge problem. Every home is going to get affected, and the government of India has no answer to this particular problem of ours.
Right. But Sujata, you remember those times when people like Smriti Irani also sat on protests when UPA was in power, and they also used to bring up these mock gas cylinders. I'm just trying to ask you that when the government is in power and when and when you are in the opposition, is there a different way of looking at any crisis, and especially a gas crisis like this? And do we always end up saying that, okay, the government didn't do enough, the government wasn't prepared, the government was waiting for the crisis to balloon, but now since Congress is in the opposition, uh, and the Congress really has a lot of questions from the government?
Clearly, there is no comparison between what Miss Irani was doing at that time, because petrol prices were well within the range of 400. Maximum it was going to was 450 at that time. And don't forget that when we were faced with this crisis, at that time, Dr. Manmohan Singh had a vision. Even for oil, he had a vision, and that's why we had taken oil bonds. But nobody has spoken about that in the manner that people would understand, because this was a technical issue, and the common man doesn't understand it. But as far as Smriti Irani with her cylinder was concerned, that was about the price of cylinder at that time, which was promised to be brought down further from 350 to what? I don't understand. 385 rupees when one of her protests were happening. But the fact is that today, when petrol prices are already soaring, you have already taken the excuse of this war between somebody else and said that, oh, because we have a shortage and that is why we have to increase the prices. They've increased the prices. But more than that, when we are sitting in parliament and protesting, it is not just in parliament, it is across the country that people are protesting. Across the country, you will find people, hounding officers, the public distribution officers, the go downs, because there is no answer and no direction anywhere. Because the direction will come from the center. Because any chief minister of the BJP that you see is totally ill-equipped to handle this. They are handicapped. They have no power to take any decision. And clearly, it is the common man who's going to face problems. I've actually heard people talking about getting wood and coal, which is so it is unheard of, unimaginable that in 2026 we are not being able to handle this problem, and this is where we've been left. So the protests are happening across the country, and this protest will trigger something even greater if this problem is not immediately managed, because I don't see any kind of solution as far as this problem of the war is concerned between Iran, Israel, and the US. And it will probably go on for another 4 weeks. Then what? What is the country going to do? Are we not going to cook food? Are we going to use tandoors? Are we going to get wood? What? There's no answer to any of our questions, and the distribution system has collapsed completely. You try to book your cylinder, there will be no answer over there. There will be no message over there, and then they've also increased the number of days to I think 25 days. But I
21 to
am trying to
25
book it.
days.
Yes, and I'm trying to book it. It's more than a month. I'm not being able to book it. The window is closed. I went to the gas agency and they said, "Oh, please try it from 6 o'clock in the evening to 10, 11 o'clock. You'll be able to do it." I tried that. It hasn't happened. So
Okay,
what do we
that's an
do?
interesting point. That's an interesting point, Sujata, you're raising. So, which means that one has to sit up the entire night, make bookings, and see that window period where you can access. But this is a systemic problem, which means that the systems have not been addressed to this kind of a crisis.
That's exactly what I'm saying. That the systems have collapsed completely, and I have not been able to book the gas cylinder even from 6 o'clock to 1 o'clock at night. And tell me, you wouldn't be able to sleep if you know that you have a limited amount of gas in your cylinder. So obviously, what is the system doing? Where do you go? And if people like us are not being able to do anything, and we are using the WhatsApp system, the SMS system, the missed call system, nothing is working. We're going to the gas agency; they're just telling us to keep trying. This is no solution. This system has collapsed completely, and this is going to really, become worse in the coming few days.
Right. Actually, this entire crisis reminds you of the COVID days. At that point of time, we all were struggling for oxygen, and now everybody is struggling for LPG. Coming to you, Shubhankar, I'm also reading a lot of reports from various parts of the country. Police in Jhansi have arrested 7 people and recovered 524 stolen LPG cylinders in a major theft. And this is according to India Today. Now, these cylinders were allegedly stolen from a truck parked outside a gas plant in the Sipri Bazaar areas between March 2nd and March 6th. And according to the police officials cited by India Today, authorities recovered 379 filled cylinders and 135 empty ones, along with more than 11 lakh in cash, a firearm, and a motorcycle. So, Shubhankar, coming to you, what is really happening? This is one incident which I have given you, but what is the situation in West Bengal, which will be going to polls in just in about 1.5 to 2 months?
Neeluji, as you very well know, that I have my residence at both the places, both in Bengal as well as in Uttar Pradesh as well. So, being a resident of Lucknow, I got the message that there the LPG prices have gone to, now that has been blacked actually. So, the black market price has gone up to 1600 rupees a cylinder. The good thing about what I find over here in Kolkata.
The government has already invoked ESMA. So, black marketing, hoarding, can that happen? I don't think so.
Well, I think Sujata already has.
Just a moment. Vivek, I think, was saying something, and then I'll come back to you, Shumankar. Yes,
No,
Vivek.
no, is it ESMA or it is Essential Commodities Act?
Essential Commodities Act, yes. They have said that they've
ESMA is
invoked.
actually different. Vivek is right.
Yeah, so they've invoked ESMA to ramp up the LPG production. That is what they've told the oil refiners.
Okay.
Yes, go ahead, Shumankar. Yeah.
Okay. So see the prices over here in Kolkata. The thing is that not only with TMC, I should say that all the political parties, as well as there are a lot of voluntary organizations, they already come and they immediately jump into action. So the one successful thing that Bengal government is trying to maintain is that the cylinder prices are available at 939. You get the cylinder or not, that is something different. But the prices sticking to 939 rupees and so on. But as we move towards UP, we find that just now I got a message from a friend of mine in Noida, and they are saying that there are commercial trucks are plying on the road. They are sending agents across and saying that you can get a cylinder immediately at 3,500 rupees. You just need to bring an empty cylinder across. That's it. So this is how the more you move towards Delhi, the situation goes like that. Now, see, from all the angles, even in the CNG, the most of the autos, most of the commercial vehicles are plying on on CNG only. So we can see easily anywhere. In fact, in Bengal to UP to anywhere in India, you will see it's a natural way that you find a 2 kilometer line across the road. So it is not about only LPG or about petrol or about this thing. So uh, taking all the fuels across, I think the IFC, I mean all the cars that are running on internal combustion, they are all people are trying to hoard it now. So that is the kind of trust you own. I mean that is the kind of public trust the government has. This shows. So this is the thing. Why is it that the people are hoarding it so much? They are not buying what the government is saying. The government is continuously they are into deniability that there is no problem as such. We are having enough source. The residential cylinders won't be having any impact or so. But what's just like Sujata said, what is the mechanism? What is the system that you have designed? What exactly
Prime
way have you
Minister,
found out?
Prime Minister today said that there is no need to panic. He was trying to reassure the people.
Well, this is going on since last 8 days. 8 days, Prime Minister saying no need to worry, no need to worry. But every single day, see, already the commercial cylinders are blocked. They are not supplying commercial cylinders. The restaurants are closed. The hotels are closed. We don't see much of the the street food vendors. They're already gone out. So how do you think they are going to earn money? How do you think those? We need to think about the petty people as well. This you cannot think about. Pradhan Mantri ji is all about. He knows that his voters are all from the middle class, so he focuses on that middle class and the upper class only. But what about the poor class? What about the people in those rural areas where generally the cylinder doesn't reach in normal situation? So how do you expect it to run in such a condition? So you need to understand that gas cylinder आपने थमा तो दी, gas cylinder दे रहे हैं, now you have already distributed. What about the refills? What mechanism did you design? Nothing. So that is the funny picture of the how the government runs. They are only to the moment if Congress or Trinamool Congress or any opposition party comes up with with the questions that where exactly you've got the system designed to manage such crisis which you knew from the very beginning is going to come. What did you do from the beginning? You were into deniability. You are still into deniability. Pradhan Mantri ji continuously goes on and on and on.
I think there's an electricity disruption at his place. Okay, I'll come to Vivek. Vivek, what is the scenario according to you? You are sitting in Nagpur. What is the situation in Maharashtra, if you could tell us? And also,
Yeah.
does it look like a case? Yes, Shubhankar, are you back? All right, all right. Go
Yes,
ahead,
I'm
go
back.
ahead. Yes, yes, yes.
So
Go
this
ahead,
is
please.
it. The electricity is also a situation in Uttar Pradesh. So nevertheless, I'm in the capital city, and I'm very happy with the double engine ki sarkar. Everything is so fine, so everything fine tuned. You will be astonished. The average power cut in Lucknow, which is the capital of the double engine ki sarkar government of UP, the average power cut is 8 hours in district of UP. That is 8 hours. So that is the condition. So this is the happy condition of India. The feel good factor is so much, it's prevailing. So now the thing is that number one, now the oil crisis is one thing, but do we know that what is going to happen in next 5 to 6 days if the war worsens more? Do we have any idea? Do we have now the thing is a prime minister who is totally compromised, who is seeking permission for every buyer, every single merchandise that we are going to get from Donald Trump? We don't know who exactly is controlling our system completely. We at least on the fuel part, every such permission is coming from Donald Trump. Will Donald Trump allow us to buy more fuel from Russia, or should we already apply for permissions to get it from other sources? Had Donald Trump said yes, okay, India can get fuels from other countries as well. Let us get the permissions upfront. That which are the countries which Donald Trump allows India to buy the fuel from, to get our energy from. So that is the thing. I think today more questions should be asked to Donald Trump rather than Prime Minister of India. who actually does nothing but I think she is only going to forward whatever the Donald Trump gives him permission for.
Right. So this brings me to a very crucial question. And Vivek, I'll come to you that we are talking about energy security. We are struggling for LPG, we are struggling for LNG, we are struggling for our daily household things, and how it could impact the Indian family households in the coming months. That's a very crucial question. But when the entire energy security looks compromised, just because our ruling dispensation cannot break silence, cannot ask tough questions to the powers that be, whether it is Israel or whether it is America. And we are so much dependent on the two countries right now. So, what happens to the energy security? And when Prime Minister says that you need not panic, will he be taken seriously?
The question is to me.
I'm asking Vivek. Yeah, I'll come back to you, Shubhankar.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Sorry.
Yeah. Nilu, obviously, we cannot take the Prime Minister's statement on face value. I mean, people will get panicked. I can tell you from a personal experience. My wife runs a cloud kitchen, and she gets orders in advance, at least about a month before the order has to be delivered. And she needs, she very regularly needs gas cylinders. So we did some panic buying of hot plates and all, and because we are anticipating that we're not going to get cylinder supplies, so we will have to depend on electricity. So the buttons have been pressed, no matter what the Prime Minister says, because an ordinary citizen will always comprehend this kind of a problem, and he doesn't want to land in any trouble should this situation persist for a longer period. The irony in what Prime Minister says is, in Kerala, he recently said that this is the time we realize what is the importance of self-dependence, Atmanirbharta. Now, the question is, you have been in power for 12 years. You have been talking about Atmanirbharta for such a long time. You have seen these kind of situations in the past when the Congress was ruling. You have seen this kind of a situation which did not, fortunately, deteriorate into some crisis as early as last year. I mean, there was this attack by Israel on Iran, and that did not go ahead as far as it has gone this time, and so there was no crisis, fortunately. But you have seen, and you are friends with some of the biggest warmongers of the world has ever seen, Netanyahu and the Trump. So you should always anticipate this kind of a situation emerging at any point of time. So what are the contingency plans you had in place? You forget. I mean, I can understand that you can't have self-dependence as far as gas and petrol and diesel and all these things are concerned, because we don't have those reserves here. We have to depend on foreign countries for that. But then for that, you have to use your good offices with all these countries where where it is sourced. Iran was one of them. You have spoiled relations with Iran and the other countries which are now engulfed in this war because of the two guys, I mean, the Trump and Netanyahu, who are your great friends. So the whole region has been engulfed into this war because of these two guys. And you traveled to Israel just 2 days before the crisis actually unfolded, and you had issued warnings to your people. So for what were you traveling to Israel? What was so urgent about it? Why did you go there? That question is not being answered. So the point is, if there was going to be this crisis, and when you were in the know of what was unfolding before you, why did you not make any contingency plans? So what happens, like if you don't have these reserves to be self-dependent, what do? You make some buffer stock which will last at least for 3-4 months, because the war can go that long. I mean, it can go longer than that. But then in that situation, nobody would blame the government, because the government had made arrangements for 3-4 months at a stage. But you have not made arrangements even for 15 days. That is becoming so obvious now. So clearly, you were anticipating a war. You knew that these two guys are going to attack Iran, and yet you did not have any plan to create a buffer stock enough for 3-4 months. And you talk of Atmanirbharta. What did you do over the last 12 years to achieve that Atmanirbharta? You didn't do anything. The situation remains the same as it was 10, 15 years ago, 20 years ago. So the Prime Minister is only waxing eloquent when he speaks, he actually does nothing on the ground. That is the crux of the matter. So now, at least, I mean, he has been talking about Nalika gas and all. So at least put that technology in place, and let's have some Nalika gas and some relief for the people, right? So a prime minister is not supposed to say all these things, but he is saying that. So where has the technology gone? Nalika gas technology, where is that technology now? So you are
Vivek,
just
that can come
trying.
very handy. Thank you, Vivek.
Yeah.
Thank you. That can come very handy. I really forgot that technology, in fact.
So you should now put that technology in place and give
Yeah.
some relief. But there is no
Actually,
relief. There is only gas. There is only
No,
gas. I
no.
mean, in the other sense of the word.
It's very natural. A lot of people on the social media are talking about that nala ka gas, and that can be used to produce so much of gas and all that. But keeping that aside, coming to the more serious question, we've seen so many economic issues, Sujata. We saw demonetization that didn't affect BJP at all, despite all the protests. Then there was GST. There has always been unemployment, inflation, and there were times when this kind of an economic crisis used to become a government's undoing. That's what we saw during UPA years. But this particular gas crisis, and coming as it does very close around the elections, because so many crucial states are going to polls, can this become a huge political issue now, this LPG crisis, if it continues? If it continues, and to tide this crisis, do you think, how is the BJP really going to ramp up its efforts if this becomes a real political question before the elections?
This has already become a crisis, and just wait and watch. You know what has happened is that your packaged water and your various other drinks that is required, and the summers are coming up, right? You know that this $5 billion packaging, the plastic industry is concerned. This is also going to be facing a crisis, and very soon you'll see that the prices of your PET bottles are also going to be increasing. And I'm not talking about PET bottles, alone. I'm talking about PET bottles with packaged water, because all of this is being manufactured from crude, right? So it is not just about LPG. You're going to see it across sectors if we don't have a way to handle this. It'll be the easiest thing for the government to say that this is because of the war, like they said that prices are rising because of the Russia-Ukraine war. You cannot keep repeating the same thing to the people of the country who voted you in, expecting that you would better things, because this itself is not an isolated case now. If you combine this with General Narwane's book, a lot of people are asking questions. The people in the armed forces, ex-servicemen, they are questioning why the government has not been able to answer questions of the opposition. People are asking, why is it that all the promises that you made, you have not been able to fulfill those promises? And it's all very well to try to manipulate votes, etc. But when people really feel the brunt of it, like all of us are feeling it at the moment, we have not faced a situation like this. Not when the Russian-Ukraine war was happening, when it started. Of course, it still goes on. We're not feeling that. But LPG is something which is really going to hit us, and all the things which come along with it, like one example that I mentioned to you. So the government needs to check itself, needs to find a way, but they're going to face the brunt of it, no matter how much they try to find a way to it. And if the Iran and Israel war finds a solution in the coming days, then too the government is going to be put in the dock by the people. And you're seeing that happening, because it's not just the Congress party or the other opposition party who are on the streets. It is the common man, common woman who is in that go down, who's standing in a gas agency and who's making those calls and is worried as to what she will do if there's no gas cylinder. She has to feed her children. You have to look at it from the point of view of the housewife at this point of time, because she has to think about her children most importantly. There are hostels running. People have to think about how children in those hostels are going to be fed, whether it is school or college. Are we going to shut everything up? No. So, as far as the common man is concerned, once they start feeling the brunt of it, which they're already feeling, the government is going to feel the heat, and the government will have to face the music. which is now, it's very clear that it's going to happen.
Right. Shumankar, coming to you about West Bengal, we already saw the day this crisis was unfolding. The first day we saw Mamata Banerjee talking about, I think she was one of the first chief ministers who called out on the LPG crisis. And then the protest began. And then, of course, it all started now in Parliament and elsewhere. Congress also, I saw protesting in a number of states. But do you think that this can become a real political question for West Bengal elections?
Of course, I don't think that right at the moment election should be a concern for anybody, because right at the moment everybody is reeling under pressure. We are facing the direct crisis because now it has come to our house. This has entered our house. This has entered our kitchen. So we are directly affected. So talking about the political scenario over in Bengal, I think that could be kept apart. Of course, the thing is now, see, it is very hard for any state government even, because they also come into the blame part of it, because the thing is that when the public comes out to protest, they protest for their own crisis. And right at the moment, it is not, we hardly bother that where the crisis can be cleared, but we want to reach out. We want to, we want our voice to reach to those ears that can actually lend us any help, any support. So anyways, so state government, I don't know how much support can state government. Only thing that state government can do is to restrict hoarding, the unnecessary hoarding of the products. Number two, the distribution centers should be in control of what Mamata Banerjee is already doing over there. Today, she has been continuously in meeting with all the distributors over there. And till now, we are not hearing much about black marketing or anything as of in the open. There might be some, some petty cases out there or not. Anyway, that is one thing. But now, Ninu, let us think about it. Look at the perspective from the bigger angle. Oh, thank God! See, the light is back. Okay, so so what happens over here? So like you spoke about demonetization.
I think there's
Now
hope. There's still
let
hope.
us just a second. I'll just take 1 second of it. By the grace of God, if any particular day when the election commission fails to support the party, they are they help to bring them back to power every time, and the BJP loses at center, what the one big thing that will be discovered is that demonetization in double inverted commas was the world's biggest scam ever, was the world's biggest scam ever. Because it in the demonetization itself, the BJP's their revenue, what they have already, they have filed. So that rose with 81.18% in the just immediately aftermath of demonetization, which was from 570.86 crores to 1034.27 crores, and which is today it has become to 7669.14 crore. That means year on year basis we are seeing a Y on Y growth of around 70 to 80%. Comes from, where does this all, whether this, even in the, I always say that, see, these black marketeers, they cannot run amok without any support. They are having currently backing of some or the other ruling party support. So if we come to it, you will come to understand that this is one party which always milks the crisis. If there is a crisis, BJP is one party which finds an opportunity in it, which looks an opportunity in it. Even any kind of, be it COVID, be it this Western Asia war, you will be finding that BJP is one party. They will find a way out to milk the situation and find a way to increase their profitability, leave aside whatever the public is the dilemmas that the public is facing, the pain that the people are suffering here from. So they are at least bothered with it.
Right. All right. So I'll come for the final concluding comments to Vivek. Vivek, how does one see this crisis politically? It comes around at a time when elections are around the corner. Do you think BJP will be able to really control? Because as of now, we do not know when the war is ending. It can go on for long. And yet the latest situation is coming that Iran has laid mines under the Strait of Hormuz, and we really don't know. Iran is not ready to buckle down. We really don't know when the war is ending. So, what is there in store for the Indian consumers?
If you go by uh, Trump's statement, then maybe he wants the war to come to an end early. But if you go by what Iran is saying, they are ready to take it forward at least for a few more weeks, because they are asking for something like cost of reparation and all. So the Iran is determined to take it forward because they want to bring America and Israel to their knees, which is not very unlikely. I mean, they can do that, despite the fact that there is a great deal of difference between the strategic powers of the two countries. I mean, two sides. Iran can still bother America and Israel no end, and that is what Iran is planning to do. So if Iran is determined to take it forward, then there is no solution in sight in near future. But if Trump can somehow bring about the end of this war, then maybe Mr. Modi will heave a sigh of relief, and so will the people of India. Let's hope. I mean, we don't want, if we are not concerned with what is going to what is going to happen to Mr. Narendra Modi and his political future, but we are certainly bothered about what is going to happen to the people of India. So for that sake only, I think this war needs to come to an end early. Maybe it will give a great relief to Narendra Modi. That's another matter. But the top priority is for the people to get relief, and for that, the war must come to an early end. So let's hope so. But going by the determination of Iran, the bruised ego of Iran, I think they might not end it all so soon. And if that happens, then the crisis will be more for the people of India than it is for Narendra Modi, because for Narendra Modi, his audience and his critical mass of supporters will always back him. And that is something which is always at the back of his mind. So he is not bothered. But that is not the case with, I mean, his support system is firmly entrenched in place. That is not the case with common citizens. They will continue to feel the heat and pinch. And I think if the situation goes beyond a certain threshold of discontent, then maybe Modi government will face the heat on the streets of the India. Let's hope that doesn't happen and people get early relief with the end of the war. Right.
And we'll have to keep a close watch on this entire LPG crisis, which is brewing across the country. And we all hope that consumers don't face that kind of a problem. Keeping all the politics aside, election can be fought on many issues, but that was just one part of it. But we just hope and pray that the consumers don't face a tough time during these war times. I'll have to end it here. Thank you so much, Sujata Paul, Shubhankar, Vivek. Thank you so much for joining.